Gonzaga Nation SI, I'm your host, Dan Dickau. We've got a great guest today, one of the best analysts in college basketball. He spent the whole entire weekend in the green room in New York City, CBS Sports headquarters, watching the games, breaking it down. Chris Walker. Chris, thanks for joining.
First of all, I'm hiring you as my agent, man. I appreciate the love.
Any day, any day. I'm sure you would return the favor, that's for sure. But let's get right to the Sweet 16. You got to win two games to get there, obviously. What is the biggest surprise that you have seen in teams advancing this year to the Sweet 16?
I mean, obviously the story is St. Peter's beating Kentucky, which is probably the biggest win in years. I mean, people talk about UMC, UMBC in Virginia, but to me, it pales in comparison to what Big Blue Nation is and John Calipari, the pros, what they've done, the guys in the NBA for St. Peter's, a place that just has no resources whatsoever, to beat a team that has every single resource that is available is amazing. You know, it would be like, I remember when Nick Saban first started got the Alabama job, he lost to Louisiana Monroe. A lot of people don't know that. It would be like him losing to Louisiana Monroe right now. That's what Kentucky losing to St. Peter's, particularly after the season they had last season. People don't know that. To lose in the first round with 5 of his 8 being top guys being transfers, so they weren't inexperienced, and then beating John Calipari, I think, who's the highest paid coach in the business, is amazing. The other one I would say is Auburn losing. I don't think Charles Barkley could have helped Auburn yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were 30-1 trans. Think about this. And Dan, you're a basketball guy. 30-1 fast break points. 30-1. Also, you also were an elite guard. I've said all year long, KD Johnson, the Auburn season is going to come down to KD Johnson, Zeb Jasper, Wendell Green Jr., and Alan Flanagan. And not so much Alan Flanagan. He's not as wild as those other as KD Johnson and Wendell Green. It was literally, I was sitting there with Gary Parrish. Actually, not Gary Parrish. I was with Steve Peichel. And we looked at each other and said, this is an AAU game. like Auburn's literally playing like it's an AAU game. Like, those guards are running up and down the court. And for the life of me, with Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith at the same time. And again, my job is to not necessarily be critical of people, but do have an opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked that with the level of coach that Bruce Pearl was. They did what they had to do to get to the tournament, that he didn't rein them in and make them understand that, hey, if we lose tomorrow, that that we can't come back and shoot better the next game. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought that was an opportunity miss. That's all I'm going to say. And the last thing I'll say is, your boys, the Zags, and I'm still teaching everybody how to say Gonzaga instead of Gonzaga. They are as lucky as I mean, they were, I'm not saying they were beaten because they won the game, but the way Memphis made them look very, very, very beatable. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
And if Drew Timme doesn't turn into Timmy Time or Superman, it's a wrap. And people can talk all they want about Chet Holmgren, and he's an amazing player. Drew Timme is the Christian Laettner of today. He's the one that makes that thing. Yes. And then you want to give Nimrod credit. Yeah, great, give Nimrod credit, whatever. The bottom line is, without Drew Timme, there's no Gonzaga right now.
Well, you know what I'm saying? About this. Yeah, you and I have talked about this in the past, and you felt like Gonzaga has to be able to prove that they can beat those physical, tough, gritty teams. And in that first half, Memphis was that tough, physical, gritty team that Gonzaga struggled with in the past. In the second, they figured it out how to combat that because of Drew Timme.
Correct.
Like, not backing down. I mean, he basically imposed his will that first 4 minutes and said, guys, enough's enough. We're not losing. Give me the ball. I'm going to show the way early, and then you guys, let's just finish it together. That's what I saw.
Correct. No, that's 100%. And, people are making as much to make about whether Penny should have called time. Or the bottom line is, they played the number 1 overall seed. That's an elite team that's accustomed to winning. And they don't get challenged much in their league. It's just what it is. Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, they're fresher than other people. Now, again, that's also why they can get punched in the mouth as easy, because they haven't had that, other than St. Mary's, which is not that physical team.
It's a different type of physical than Memphis.
Yeah, it's just different. And, it's funny. I was talking to guys the other day about, look at Miami. Miami has shot 1 for 15. Let me shoot 1 for 14 and 4 for 14. 1 for 15, 4 for 14, and going to Sweet 16. Think of what I just said. That's you hear that, you're like, there's no chance they're going to win. And because the first thing I do is I look at every game, I say, give me a stat sheet. You know how it is when you're sitting there, I go to 3-point shooting every single time. And this year, more than any other year, teams are winning like Houston, and they're not shooting well from 3 because they're defending.
Yeah.
Or both teams shoot bad, right? And then all of a sudden you got to look at the free throw shooting. Who got to the line the most? What happened with the Texas game with Purdue was egregious. 46 free throws to 12, Dan. I mean, think about that.
That's a hard discrepancy to overcome. And I would agree with you. Like, to me, Gonzaga has been good for a long time, as you well know. But when they were finally able to flip the script and become great defensively, that's when they've really become elite. And one of the leagues that gets recognized as being great defensively, the Big Ten, they've got teams that struggle offensively. I personally was not surprised with the Big Ten struggles. Were you?
The funny thing is, with 9 teams getting in, I thought that was far too many. Like, you look at some of their 100%. Records toward the end, you're like, okay, well, how did they get in? Like, I get it, but they lost 5 games. They won 2. They lost 3 of the last 5. Why are they in the tournament? And they're getting rid of what they call recency bias, which I think is ridiculous to get rid of recency bias, because teams are better when the season ends. Mm-hmm. They're better at the beginning, they're at the end. So to reward them because they got an upset, right? Like Notre Dame beat an early Kentucky team, with a bunch of transfers. There's no way Notre Dame could be that Kentucky team now. You know what I mean? And so to say, and when you say, well, recency bias, well, it matters for the mid-majors because they have to win their conference tournament to get in. So it does matter. You know what I'm saying? There is recency bias. And my thing is the Big Ten, and to your point, Johnny Davis, All-American, first team All-American, gone. Kofi Cockburn, first team All-American, gone. Keegan Murray, first team All-American, gone. All gone. And my thing is, again, like, I watched that Illinois game yesterday. I'm like, why did anybody ever think they were really good?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
battle of attrition with that league.
Yeah. I mean, like, why? And you look at Indiana, and they're a good defensive team, but look who they're playing. It's who they're playing against as well. That's all you can measure them against. But the bottom line is, I thought the Big Ten, man, if you get 9 teams in, I mean, you got to have a better showing than that, because they're saying that your league is better than any other league. And the last thing I'm sure we're going to talk about is what happened with that. And I want your opinion on this. Did Mikey Miles get fouled when they put that double? And that's unbelievable. They didn't call that.
That end of that game, well, there are 2 things. He got fouled, wasn't called. He was over and back. I saw something today where they broke it down. He went over and back. But then did you catch that the clock operator stopped the clock for just a split second when Dalen Terry picked it up and went the other direction?
No way.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so there was 3 discrepancies that happened in literally – that final 7-8 seconds of that TCU Arizona game.
That was a heck of a game.
Arizona, yes, it was an unbelievable game. For you on the East Coast, you had to stay up till 1, 2 in the morning to watch that, and then get over the adrenaline rush after watching a good game. But
we do the show at 1 o'clock every night, so
yeah,
we were all sitting there, so it was unbelievable. But yeah, anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
All good. Give me your Final 4. Like, I've got 2 of my Final 4 picks already out. So before it, I had.
That means you had Kentucky. That means you had Kentucky.
I had Kentucky.
Auburn or Iowa, or Iowa. Who'd you have? That's out.
No, I had Wisconsin in that.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, Wisconsin.
Yeah. I thought the play of Johnny Davis being a star was going to carry them through. Obviously, I was wrong.
Yeah, well, they lost Chucky Hepburn too during the game, so that didn't help. But they shot 2 for 22. That didn't help either from 3. You know what? I just feel, and I know the Zags fans aren't going to like this, I want Duke to play Gonzaga to go to the Final Four. I think for Coach K's edification, that would be the best way to go out. They can win. I mentioned yesterday they have 5 5-stars and 1 4-star. That's it crazy.
Yeah.
Gonzaga has 5 stars as well. People don't know that. Like, Nembhard was a 5-star. Mm-hmm. I mean, Timmy wasn't, but Chet Holmgren, Salas, Hickman, they got their share of 5 stars as well. That would be an unbelievable game to go to the Final Four. And I think either Mark Few is going to win his first championship or he's going to end Coach K's career. That's the game I would circle. And if you ask me who the championship game is going to be, I'm not trying to get around giving my Final Four, but it's going to be Tommy Lloyd versus Mark Few. I mean, that is going to be
on a crash course.
Exactly. If they get, I think Villanova's going to beat Michigan. I think Arizona probably going to beat Houston. If they show up, they can't do what they did last night, even though that TCU game could be a prelude and make them wake up and be like, yo, like this is real here. Like now you're about to play TCU on steroids playing U of H, but Houston, Villanova, I think Arizona gets past them, and it's Arizona Gonzaga for the championship. And that's you guys with all that infighting. I'll let you guys have that over there in Spokane. But that would be a story big ending. And I think that if that happened, I think that Mark Few would get his first championship.
Well, we're on the same page then, that's for sure. I know we see some things differently. You being an East Coast power point guard that's a Villanova Wildcat. I'm a West Coast guy, obviously. So I'm good to see you're starting to come around to the West Coast being the best coast. Yeah. That's good.
Hey, it's been since 97 since they've won a championship out there. It's about time they get one.
Well, of course, you had to remind me on that one. I think what Villanova got 2 within that time frame since Arizona won in 97. So
2 in 5 years.
Well, Chris, I appreciate the time. Always good to connect. And I'll be catching you on CBS Sportsnet coverage this week because I'm going to be home watching the games, not covering them. It's going to be fun.
For sure, brother. Good thing. Thanks for having me again.